All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. And I'm excited that we are all here back together this week. Thank you so much for joining the Royal We Live. Tonight, we are going to be talking about this big question that I get asked a lot. And I know a lot of you might be thinking right now, are you the narcissist? Are you the abusive person in the relationship? And it's easy to feel that way. It's easy to come out of narcissistic abuse saying, am I the one? Am I the one that's the narcissist? I'm so confused. And I got that question this week, and I've got it a lot, and I've never actually addressed that question. And I myself struggle with that very same question. As an empath, it's typical that we come out of these relationships wanting to know, what did we do? And also the fact that abusive narcissists, that's exactly what they want out of the relationship with you. They want you to feel bad. They want to throw and heap all of their nonsense onto you, make you feel like you are the one that messes up. Almost, there's a lot of videos that I've done that talk about this, that you messed up. As a matter of fact, my channel intro video, it's like a 3-minute small clip. And in that video, I talk about how the relationship twists and they look at you like you messed up. How did you mess up? By having independent thought. And so this is what we're going to talk about, guys. We're going to clarify this idea of whether or not you are the narcissist. Hopefully it's going to clear this up for you guys. But before we get into this, guys, let's go ahead and say hi to people who are joining in. Hi, everybody. How are you guys on this Monday night? It's so good to see you guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hi there, D-Doll. It's good to see you. Hi there. Hello. It's going real fast. Taylor. How you doing, Taylor? Hope your weekend was good. Valerie, how are you? Ash M. How's it going? Truly Online. It's good to see you. Michelle, how are you? Michael Terry, what's up, man? Lore. Sophia, what's going on, girl? How are you? Blue, there you are. Everybody's here. Beautiful Hummingbird. All right, it's so good to see all you guys. Your Majesty, yes, you are royal. And Calvin, what's going on? So let's go ahead. Laura, Tiffany, hi, everybody. While you guys keep pouring in, we're going to go ahead and get started with this lesson so that we can get to some phone calls and hear how you guys, how everybody's weekend was. Hopefully we'll get some really good phone calls about that. So let's go ahead right now first, before we get to the phone calls, talk about, am I the narcissist? Are you the narcissist? So first of all, what are some of the reasons why you might think that you are a narcissist after being involved with these people? Well, obviously, narcissistic abuse is a demeaning and a devaluing process in which this person that you loved has started to demean and devalue you and point their finger at you. And it's not bad. It's not enough that they just demean and devalue you, but then they also tell you that it's your fault. It's that you're the reason that they are demeaning and devaluing you. And how do they do this? Well, simply put, when you try to solve the problem, because typically you as an empath are a problem solver, you're a fixer, you want to heal, you want to bring peace, you want everybody to get along. And so you're trying to ask why, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. And every time you ask that question, what's going on, you're hitting a nerve inside of the narcissist that says, uh-oh, they've discovered I'm a messed up individual. This is the mindset of a narcissist. Narcissists believe that they are hideous on the inside. And when you say, what's going on? Let me help you. It brings that to the surface in them. And so now they're angry. And now you are selfish. How dare you ask them what's going on? How dare you think that you're better than them? How dare you not just be quiet and be in your role of making them feel good every moment and serving their needs? How dare you become an independent individual? And so now they're going to call you all kinds of names, everything from you're toxic, you're selfish, you think you're better than everybody else. You are, they're just, and then they use such words like their mind is blown by how ignorant you are for trying to ask what's wrong, how ignorant you are for setting boundaries. You ask them not to cuss at you. Oh, what a terrible thing, how selfish you are and how ignorant it is for you to ask them to not cuss at you. So after all of this, and after you hear all of this, it's easy to say, am I the problem? Not only that, abusive narcissists then do what's called gaslighting. They tell you that I never hurt you. I never said anything wrong to you. Quit acting like a victim. They tell you that you're acting like a victim. They'll say, I never hurt you. I never did anything to hurt you. I never said anything out of line. This is what narcissists do. I've only said things out of love. Narcissists will say that. They will cuss you out, put you down, then say, I only say things out of love. And so these are the things that make you question, am I the one then that's bad? Right? Then not only that, but narcissists turn on that sweet switch wherever they pull that sweet switch from. I don't know where. It's the same one that they had on when you meet them. And they go and get family members and friends, and they start to gossip about you. So-and-so's having some problems. They're starting problems a lot. They just want to fight a lot. And so now you're getting other people through triangulation, which is what that's called, looking at you, and they're starting to form this mob mentality. Sometimes it could be your friends, or typically it's just friends that you met with the narcissist. Chances are, if I knew I was missing something, I had to turn the mic light on right there. Chances are, if it's your family and your friends that you've been with, then they're not going to buy it. They're not going to listen to the narcissist. They know you well enough, and the chances are they're going to take it with a grain of salt. But any friends that you have met with the narcissist, they can go and manipulate. They're the first ones to do that type of stuff. They love triangulation. They love going around saying something's wrong with Kevin. Something's wrong with so and so. They're just acting really weird, right? And through this, you're going to get looks from other people. This is going to further show, further going to raise a question in you, whether or not you have an issue, whether or not you're a narcissist, because everybody's kind of looking at you, giving you the stink eye, and you have no idea what's going on. You really don't. And so you feel like you need to defend yourself and talk to people, saying, let's talk. I want to be peaceful. And then you even start to apologize to people. Listen, I'm sorry for whatever I did. I did that, guys. I was in that place. I had no idea what was going on. No idea how I offended an entire, this family of people. But I didn't know what narcissistic abuse was. And I didn't know what the mob mentality or collective narcissism, as it's called, I didn't know what that was. And so as I started seeing what started out as one person in the family giving me the stink eye and cussing at me and calling me names, and me approaching that person saying, hey, what's going on? Is there something wrong? Is there something I can help fix? That then spread to other people in that family, in the dynamic, and it created this mob mentality. It created this collective narcissism where now everybody's looking at me going, oh, he messed up. He's really causing problems. And I'm like, what is going on? And then eventually I apologized. I said, listen, I'm sorry for whatever I did. And as I look back, I'm like, well, that was a stupid thing to do. What did I apologize for? Nothing. It was all empty accusations and crazy stuff. But I did it anyways. And looking back, I'm glad I did it, because at the very least, my side of the street is clean. I put it out there. Hey, sorry if anything I did is offensive to anybody. But then after that, I got the heck out of the situation, and I haven't turned back since, okay? That's true. No contact. It's not a game for me. It's not silent treatment. It is no contact. I realize that it's a situation with narcissists that you cannot win. You cannot apologize enough. You cannot try to talk enough. You can't reason. You cannot rationalize enough. You've got to just clean your side of the street up and get the heck out. Go, move on. Don't look back, because it will never change, and it's not worth the effort. All right, guys. So let's talk about some practical and defined ways. Now that I've got my, a little bit of my experience out of the way, let's talk about some defined ways that you can tell and know that you are not in an abusive, or you yourself are not the narcissist. Okay, so let's talk about some of the typical traits that narcissists have. All right, typical abusive narcissists often deny the existence or minimize the seriousness of a violent act, and how it affects the victim or other family members or other friends. So, an abusive narcissist, typically an antisocial behavior narcissist, they'll have no problem picking up something, a dirt clod off the ground, just because they think it's funny, and throwing it as hard as they can and hitting someone in the back of the head. It hurts them really bad, and they will dumb and play it down. Oh, I didn't throw it that hard. Oh, you're a wuss. Don't be a wuss. Don't be a wimp. I've seen this time and time again, right? I watched I've seen horrible things happen with that context. And so if that's not something that you would do, you would think beforehand, I don't want to throw this at somebody. It might hurt them. Okay, we're off to a good start. you're not a narcissistically abusive person. You're definitely not an antisocial abusive person, in which you don't quite think that doing something like, and don't get me wrong, we all make mistakes. I've raced with my kids, or wrestled with my kids, and sometimes we can get rough for sometimes, you know what I mean? That's different. That's not trying to pick something up and throw it at somebody or anything like that. You know what I mean? So there's a clear distinction between like accidents and when you're playing and trying to do something that just is not normal, right? Okay, so that's something right there. Um, an abusive person objectifies people, often sees them as property or objects. Okay. This is that whole thing of, I mean, and you got to ask yourself, do you objectify people? When you look at other people, do you see them as just something that you can play with or something that you can use? Or do you see them as a person with thoughts and with feelings, and you know what I mean? And you appreciate them, and you know what I mean? These are good things to test and measure against. Okay. An abusive person externalizes the causes of their behavior. They blame their violence on circumstances such as stress or their partner's behavior on a bad day, alcohol, drugs, or other factors. Now, I've talked about this before, where abusive narcissists will do things and then say, "Oh, it's the drugs' fault. I did drugs, and that's why I act like this." They blame the drugs. They blame being the alcohol. Abusive narcissists will become hostile and violent and blame it on drinking. Okay. I've seen that happen too. Families, seen people invite cousins over, get in fist fights with them, and I've heard the stories. And then they'll just say, "Oh, well, we were all drunk," blaming the alcohol, blaming something for their actions. Do you do that? Do you blame something? Do you look for something to blame? Right. And now I'm not talking about going no contact and saying we're going no contact because of how the abusive people act. Now, that is true. And I'm saying that as well. But guess what? I'm not blaming the narcissist for me going no contact. I'm saying I'm going no contact. I take full responsibility for it. I made the best decision of my life. All right. And I did that so I can be at peace and get away from the narcissist. That's different. That's not me playing a game saying, "Oh, I'm leaving them because they're ruining my life," and blah, 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 blah. No, that's blaming, right? I take responsibility for my own life, what I'm doing now, how I'm helping you guys. And none of this, and the fact that I moved here, moved 5 states away, I'm not blaming anybody for that. This was my decision. I'm proud of the decision. And so there's a difference between blaming for things that are going wrong in your life and acknowledging that you need to move on and grow as a result of something happening in your life. There is a distinction there. All right. And let's see. Extreme jealousy. Abusive narcissists are extremely jealous. Are you a jealous person? And when we say jealousy, typically narcissists are jealous to the point where they will talk down about the stuff you like. If you have an Apple iPhone, they will just destroy it. People who like Apple iPhones are stupid. You know what I mean? That's the kind of jealousy you're dealing with when you deal with abusive narcissists. If they don't like the kind of car you drive, I can't stand those cars. They're so stupid. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, is that something you would do? Do you walk around and go, "Well, that person has this and that's so stupid. I hate it. I hate that. I hate when people have this. I hate when people have." No, if that's not you, then you're not an abusive narcissist. If it is you, if you walk around and go, "I hate what that person has," then maybe you want to, find out some stuff, right? Maybe you want to, maybe you are asking the right questions. Possessiveness, an inability to let go. Now, possessiveness, this inability to let go, this is sometimes where I do identify some people who are reaching out to me who indeed are falling on a more narcissistic spectrum. Typically, when I deal with some parents who've contacted me saying, "Will you contact my son? He's married to a narcissistic girl and he won't listen to me." Come to find out, the son is madly in love with his wife and the wife is in love with the husband. The only one that has the issue here is the parent because they are possessive. They're controlling. They say, "That's mine. That's my son. How dare another woman take my son?" Okay. So these are things you want to, and if you do have some possessiveness, you want to work on releasing that. Right? A bad temper. Bad temper. We all can get irritated and mad, but do you have a bad temper that would cause you to flip off a driver who cuts you off, chase them down, like this far away from their bumper, right in their butt, and so that any, like, if they touch the brakes, you're going to slam into them, or you try to pull them over so you can pull them out of the driver's seat and start fighting. And I mean, this stuff happens, guys. We see there's YouTube videos that show this stuff. Road rage, just look it up. So that's the type of bad temper that is abusive. It's narcissistically abusive. Is that you? If not, no, you're good. Verbal abuse. Do you like to cuss people out, call people names, destroy them verbally? Controlling. Let's see. Blaming. We already talked about that. All right, guys. So those are some things, guys. And last but not least, if any of those things resonate with you, if those are things that you're dealing with, well, then perhaps you do lean more towards the narcissistic side, but I doubt they do. And furthermore, if you were a narcissist, you would not be watching the videos and commenting and asking questions, because abusive narcissists don't do that. You want to know what abusive narcissists do? I will read again what abusive narcissists do. They come onto the channel and they write comments like this. This was a comment to me from a clearly narcissistically abusive person. You are a selfish person. The person doesn't even know me, but they're watching a video saying this. You're a selfish person. That's a classic narcissist line right there. You're selfish, right? You're a selfish person, and clearly, as you keep saying the word narcissist, which isn't a thing. And if you weren't selfish, you'd be smarter. This is how narcissists talk to other people, by the way. If you weren't selfish, you'd be smarter, because selfish people are stupid, right? So if you weren't selfish, you'd be smarter, and you'd know that. So laugh out loud, out loud, out loud. Like, seriously, get rid of yourself so we can all have a more prosperous and happier life for real. That's a narcissist right there. So if that's not the way you talk to other people, and instead you're reaching out to me saying, how do I know I'm not the narcissist? Then I can tell you right now, you're not the narcissist. All right, guys. Thank you for that, for going through that with me. And I know that was a lot to tackle. I'm going to go ahead and put the telephone number up there, guys. The telephone line is open. I would love to hear your thoughts on your questions on whether or not you have questioned if you were the narcissist, and how that came about. What were some of the things that you wrestled with coming out of narcissistic abuse? Go ahead and you guys are welcome to call in. And I look forward to hearing you. I look forward to hearing your guys' comments. We got a telephone call from Longboat Key, Florida. And you are live, Florida, on the Royal We. How are you?
Hey, guys. It's Taylor.
What's up, Taylor?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, so this is something I've actually really struggled with. I know when I was on the show before, when I called, and I actually asked you specifically about how to know if I am the narcissist.
Right.
And just kind of some of the things that you were talking about. The biggest thing with the ex-narc that I dealt with was anytime I tried to confront, just to fix it, fix the issue, to compromise on anything, it would always turn into, I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Yes.
Right.
And I never knew that it was, a form of the silent treatment. Mm-hmm. I never knew it until, I educated myself. But I used to sit there and I'm like, how did this turn into, and you know what I mean? Like an argument. I maybe said a sentence of,
right,
in a calm manner, and it was just automatically, I'm not arguing with you.
I want to bring this to your attention too. I am willing to bet that at some point in the relationship, you actually said that first. Okay? But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Okay? And I had that exact same experience. I want to share. It's interesting. With the abusive narcissists I was spending time with, they were trying to get me to do something that I did not want to do. We were all going on a trip somewhere because I was dealing with some with in-laws at the time. We were going on a trip to Knott's Berry Farm. They wanted me to drive a car that wasn't mine simply because it was bigger. I said no. And I'm not going to, we can all fit in my car. I wasn't comfortable driving another person's car that I'm not insured on or anything. And they kept doing, just drive the car, just drive the car. Everybody drives the car. Everybody, and I'm like, no, no, no. And they're like, just drive the car. And I finally said, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to drive the car. I was asserting boundaries, okay, of them trying. And some people flipped out. They didn't like hearing that from me. And, I didn't typically, if someone's constantly like, when they're barking at you, like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it's like it's kind of annoying. You're going to be like, I'm not going to argue with you. No, stop, stop it. I'm not going to do it. Anyways, the reason I'm telling you this is because months later, when the narcissistic abuse started to come in, that became something used against me, but in a very mean, cold, and deliberate way, kind of like what you're explaining. So I would be cussed at or called names, and I would say something like, I really don't appreciate that. And they would stop me immediately with, I'm not going to argue with you, Kevin. Just like that. I'm like,
yep.
Whoa. Okay. You just started to kind of be real cruel and mean, but you're saying you don't want to talk about it. I'm like, it was kind of like, I'm shutting you up. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to tell you, I don't like to be called name. I'm not going to argue with you, Kevin. It was really kind of weird that they took that and used it out of context. Is that something like what you experienced?
Oh yeah, all the time. The amount of confusion it casted over me almost every time that happened, because to me, I'm just trying to work on something and I'm not even arguing. And I remember, the conversations where I would respond with, whoa, I'm not arguing.
Right.
Where on earth are you getting this from? And of course, it would just create a temper and anger and a whole, reaction after that. So in a sense, he also was able to shut me down with that, to where I wouldn't push, about talking about something, or where I let my boundaries slip because of that reaction that he had.
Right. Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now that yes, I can see how that would cause you to think that you were the narcissist, and like you said, you struggled in your initial question, and we all do, because then when we hear that stuff, we are forced to kind of look at that. Was I being argumentative? Was I? And that's kind of what they want. They want you to. Here's the purpose. Narcissists put you on the defense. And they want you on the defense because that's what gets you to question if you're a bad person. That's what leads you to start being the one to start apologizing for no reason. It makes you say, well, help me understand things better. And this is typical empath stuff. Help me understand you. This is where we come from, right? Help me understand what's going on. Help me understand why you're mad, And they just eat that stuff up. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. You made me mad. Well, help me understand. You just did. Because you're bad, you're mean, you're cruel, you're selfish, you're ignorant, all this stuff, right? And this is why we walk away going, am I a bad person, right?
Yeah, I've learned that they call you abusive for reacting to their abuse.
Exactly.
And that is honest to God what it is. Now I'm able to look back and see that. But honestly, it's our reactions and are normal. We're in that fight and flight mode. It's normal. And that, I'm sure some of us have looked back on those moments and thought, I did this wrong, or I should have handled it a different way. But in reality, that was a normal reaction for the situation we were in.
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
But I just wanted to touch base on that and say hi to everybody.
Taylor Zabel, everybody. Taylor Zabel, thank you so much. And you guys be sure to, Taylor, I'll let you go, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce you and the other moderators since you called. Thank you so much for calling.
Good night.
Good night. And guys, the phone line is back open, but I want to go ahead and just give a shout out to all of our moderators. Be sure, guys, to give them a big thank you. Give a big thank you to Blue. Blue, thank you for everything that you're doing, welcoming and talking to people. The Facebook page, guys, if you're interested in finding out more about the Facebook page, Blue is posting things for that. And so she'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Taylor, who is so very kind and welcoming. And we just got to hear her voice right now. Thank you so much for calling in, Taylor. It was great to hear from you. And she's there to welcome you and share things with you as well. And then also D Doll. D, thank you so much for being here. D, so happy to have all of you as a part of just moderating this whole chat room and making sure that everything just goes very fluid and very good. You guys are incredible people, and if there's anybody else out there who is willing to be a part of being a moderator and is interested in that, go ahead and send me an email at jointheroyalwe, and we will I'll set up a time to talk to you, give you a call, and we will talk about it. And with that, guys, the phone line is back open. So let's go ahead and get the phone number back up there. You guys are welcome to call in. We'll take another telephone call before we call it a night, guys. And again, we're talking tonight about dealing with this idea and the thought that you were the narcissist, that you somehow were the one that messed up. This is a question that a lot of people have. As a matter of fact, one of my videos just had that question on the video, and I'm going to go back and make a reply. But it's easier to talk about it in this type of a context than it is to text and write and comment and give all of that stuff that I just talked about with you in the beginning of this video. So hopefully, people who have that question will see this video. Hopefully, I'll be able to tag it right so that people will be able to find it. So anybody who has that question, am I the narcissist? Was I the narcissist? Was I the abusive one in the relationship? Then it would be a good video. Hopefully there was a lot of good information there for you guys. And guys, before we do call tonight, I also want to let you know that if you would like to donate to the Royal We, you're more than welcome to. There's a donation link at the home page of the Royal We channel. You can go ahead and click on that. We've got a call from California, One Moment California. And you're welcome to donate monthly or one-time donation. Also, we do have merchandise, so you can find a link to the merchandise in the description box below this video. And by supporting the Royal We through merchandise, you get to have something to wear that is very supportive. And I know that there are some people who've already ordered some Royal We shirts, and I'm anxious to hear about them, guys. I'll post some pictures or something, but they're there for you guys. Sweatshirts, coffee mugs, t-shirts. It's a great way to support the Royal We, and obviously for a good cause. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this call from California. Thank you so much for calling. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi, I've called before, so I hope that's okay.
That is more than okay. What's going on?
Okay, so I know everybody says to not look at the social media, but for me it's really hard and it's a challenge.
Right.
And so my ex-narcissist hasn't really posted much of anything, just images of like a vacation place that they went right after the discard. But the new supply has posted quite a bit of things. And so yesterday after church, I looked at it. I couldn't help myself. I was praying about not doing it, but I couldn't help myself, and I looked at it. And he posted a couple of statements, one into regards of being cheated on and that he's not an untrusting person, and but he just knows human behavior. He got people to feel sorry for him. And I'm going, first of all, you discarded me after 15 years. You cheated on me with a coworker. How can you play the victim and say something like that? And it made me so upset. It got me to the point where I wanted to say something about that and expose him, but I didn't. And then there was another one about how the new relationship is a different formula than the previous one, and don't judge your new person that you're with based on the shortcomings of your ex. And throughout the relationship, I can't say I did nothing wrong, but I can tell you that I'm a pretty calm, humble person, and anytime there was chaos that he would create, I was the one to calm him down. I gave him pretty much everything I could possibly give and do for him, so I can't really see anything that I did wrong. And for him to say that, it's like he's saying these things about me, and then people are feeling sorry for him, and it really, and I can't really defend myself, and so it upsets me because I feel like if you're going to talk about me, at least tell the truth. but I know the narcissist isn't going to do
They
that.
can't
And
do
I've
that.
been,
They can't do that.
yeah, and I've been praying for a year. I've even fasted for his change, and I'm thinking, well, maybe God is changing him because God can do anything. And then I saw that. So in a way, it helped me, but it left me upset for the rest of the day too, and frustrated.
Yeah.
And so I part of me still had that hope that he's going to change one day in the back of my mind. And without that, I feel lost.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't know what.
Here's the thing: we can all tell that you are a sweet, soft-spoken, very empathic, very loving individual. I mean, it just comes across in your voice. You're smooth. You're very soothing. I can definitely see how you would calm him down, right? Because that's who you are. The unfortunate thing is that you were directing this energy with somebody who is a wild, uh, kind of just out of control, hostile individual. And this is the problem that a lot of us think as empaths. We think we're good enough, strong enough, and powerful enough to subdue and to change these people. We're not, right? And I think that there's a lot of reasons as to why we get in these relationships and we think we can change them. Some of it has to do with the fact that we think that we have to because we've crossed a certain line. Maybe you've invested your time, your energy, your body. You've given them sex, things like that. And so at some point you think, well, I have to make this work now. You don't. What you have to do is forgive yourself, and you have to seek forgiveness for what you've done, outside of what is normally your boundaries, especially being a church-going girl. It's the harder thing to do, to face up to it and say, man, I got involved in this way and I shouldn't have. It's the harder thing to do, but in the long run, it's going to save your life. Because I mean, and it's way more reasonable to forgive yourself than to wait for a narcissist to change. You see, an abusive narcissist will never change no matter how much you pray for them and how much hope you have, because in order for prayer to work with a narcissist, they have to be in agreement. This is another thing that we as Christians oftentimes miss. We think that just our prayer is going to work. I'm just going to pray for that person and they're going to change. No, the Bible says where two or more are gathered in his name, there his presence will be. Narcissists have to be in agreement. The narcissist has to be with you saying, I agree. I'm a mess. I'm hurting you. I'm hurting people. Let's go pray. Boom. Then you can have Jesus come in and you can start to see some changes take place, but that's not what happens. They're doing their thing, you're praying, and you see absolutely nothing happen. It's because God's saying, listen, I can't impose on his free will. But I'm telling you, you need to get out of the relationship. Because that's what God's saying.
Well,
you're not supposed to be
I'm
here.
not with him. He's been gone. Right. It's been for a little over a year, but he discarded me. But what I don't understand sometimes, and I think about this a lot, is that I never really get a clear answer. Is why doesn't God create a situation where they would want to change, where they would like a slip and fall, or just an example, or something that would
you won't see it happen.
Would affect them.
You won't see it happen because you're there to cater to them. Anytime that's going to happen, they will have to be at absolute rock bottom where they really have nobody, and I mean really have nobody.
Why does God allow for new supplies and things? Why doesn't God allow for no one to accept him?
Because that's part of the world, and he's in the narcissist is in the world's game, and the new supply is in the world's game. The world is going to have its own, and you and me at that time, we were diving into a place we didn't belong in the world's game. You know what I mean? This is one of those things. We are in the world, but we're not supposed to be of the world. But we follow these people who are in the world into the world. And I know I'm getting kind of spiritual in this, but this is kind of how it goes. So, anyways,
I grew up in a Christian family. I wasn't going to church when we were together, really. It was after he left what brought me back to God and brought me to go regularly to church. So I was kind of sporadically going here and there whenever it was convenient.
Guys, hang on one second. Hang on 1 second. I've got to do something real quick here. I'm going to put some music on. Hold that thought. Be right back, guys. I made it just in the nick of time. Okay. Thank you guys for holding. Are you still there, caller from California?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. The the laptop was about to die. That would not have been a good thing. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that technical interruption. Okay, so
That's
I get
okay.
my breath back. All right. So these are very important questions that you're asking. And I left off saying that at the time, right, and this goes back to kind of that Royal We motto: narcissistic abuse is a result of being involved with people we have no business being with, doing things we have no business doing, going places we have no business going, right? And what happens in these relationships is we come up against that wall of evil, right? Of complete, and it's mind-blowing. It's like it's the first time we're seeing it, even though it's not the first time we're seeing it. We just forgot that that's part of that life. We forgot that this is life in the world, and so it blows us back. We can't believe it, and so we got to take a step back. And this is the challenge: is separating ourselves from that place, separating ourselves from that lifestyle, separating ourselves from that world. Not saying, okay, change them, change that person so that I can be with them. That's not what it is. It's no, you were with that person and you shouldn't have been, right? You were in that relationship you
Yeah.
had no business being in, right?
I hate the comment that people say, "Oh, well, he's just not for you." And I'm going, "Well, I don't think the narcissist is for anyone, really. I mean,
They're
it's
not.
not a person that's for him, you know?" And
Not
so that's always an upsetting.
not the way in which you think, right? But this is why they jump around from relationship to relationship to relationship. You know, you're thinking in terms of how you view and how most of us here view life and love and giving and relationships and nurturing as lifelong partners, as a spiritual connection, as a whole thing. An abusive narcissist typically, and people of the world for that matter, especially in today's culture, look at relationships as an objectified experience. Oh, you're cute. Well, you got a nice butt. Well, you're hot. You got nice boobs. Want to have sex, right? And it doesn't even have to be sexual. It can be, oh, you're rich. Let's hang out. You know, show me how to make money. So this is the world, and so it's based on
Yeah.
objectification. Okay, and when you guys got together, you were objectified by him, and I'm sure the relationship was great so long and it felt good so long as the relationship was very what do you call it? It was obviously objectified and is very shallow, right? It was just a form of meeting each other's needs,
Well, the
certain
thing is, it's
needs.
so funny that when I met him, like, I didn't even like him. He pursued me like I've never seen anyone pursue me, and I didn't even like him. And then I thought, this guy is cute. He's really into me. I should give him a chance. Because he tried so hard, even when I was kind of rejecting him, and was doing my own thing and going to school and working, and I was a single mom, and I was just, but he tried so hard, and he said all the right things, and
Of
so I
course he
finally
did.
gave in.
You looked
And
like a yummy piece of prey for for a person on the hunt for a piece of whatever. And they can be very, I mean, if you, I mean, in just instinctually and with what they want. Once they get it set in mind, I bet I can get her. Or there's something about it, and yeah, they'll go for it. Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And so it's not about their willingness to try. Okay, because and this is one of the people. A question I commonly get is, why do I attract narcissists? Okay, you don't attract them. This guy you were with probably does that to every girl that comes across to some degree, unless he knows, oh, I don't have a chance. In which case, then he probably talks bad
Well, it's
about
so
her.
funny because when I told him, like, it's not the time for me to be in a relationship. I'm 23 years old. I'm going to school. Like, it's not. And I already made a mistake. I had a child out of wedlock, and so I needed to take care of my child and do what I needed to do. And his comments were like, "Nice guys finish last," and he's telling the new girl the same stuff. And
Exactly.
it's it's like, I'm like, oh, how sweet, nice guys finished last, and and all these things, and it's just like,
What is
I
sweet
think,
about that?
I don't know, because he was just trying. He was bringing me a single rose every day. My car broke down. He offered to fix it. He followed me to the laundromat. He followed me like a lost puppy everywhere I go. He's like, no,
I
I can
see.
go with you. And then, yeah, I mean, he was just really supportive,
I,
and just like, just all of these things that he
I'm going
just
to tell you
kept
something.
trying.
This is interesting. I'm gonna say something about that real quick. The bringing you roses and stuff like that. I one time, talked to somebody who was getting out of a relationship, and the person was randomly, and it terrified her as I was talking her through this no contact stage, because she would go to the store and there the narcissist would be. She was terrified, right? And
Yeah.
one time she was on the phone. She called me. I don't know why. She called me, and she's like, yeah, I have to leave the store. I just need someone to talk to. He's there. He's there. He's there. Oh my gosh. He saw me. He's following me out the door. And I kind of helped her just go to the car, get in, start the car, and just take off. Right. And here's the thing as we're
Well, this was
talking,
in the beginning of the relationship
right. No, I
before I
know.
even knew who he was.
I know, but
Yeah.
what's interesting about it is it's stalker behavior. Okay, it really is
Oh
stalker
yeah,
behavior.
my mom said you've got it. My mom said you've got
Yes.
a case of fatal attraction, and I said no, it's just cute. He just really likes me.
No.
I
Well,
thought it
here's
was
the thing.
cute.
Here's the thing. In the beginning, he did that
Just
to
to
her too. He
discard
would
me.
he would show up. He would show up at the store randomly, and he would
Oh
make
wow.
comments like when they met, like, "Do you believe in fate? Because we keep bumping into each other and stuff." And guess what? Guess who thought it was the cutest thing in the world? I mean, what woman wouldn't think that's cute? Oh my gosh, maybe it is fate. Oh wow, he's kind of cute. We keep bumping into each other everywhere we go. Oh my gosh. It
Yeah.
doesn't become creepy and freaky until later on, and they're showing up at places, and you're like, okay, now I'm scared, right? It's the same stalker behavior, right? It's just that when you're not aware of it, you didn't know, it can seem cute and innocent and charming. But when you look back, you're like, man, that is kind of weird. It was kind of obsessive. It was kind of, you know what I mean? And this is their tactics. And so, yeah, there's a lot there. Obviously he wanted you, conditioned you, he wanted to use you. He wanted to have his way with you. And just like any instinctual predatorial being, that's what they'll do. And so the question is, why do you attract narcissists? That's what people say. Why do I attract them? It's not that you attract them because they do that to everybody. It's a question of why do you eventually let it in, right? It's not enough in this world. And I'm talking to you just specifically. You're a single mom, right? You have a lot that you should be looking for in a relationship. And I'll be honest with you, things like cuteness and this and that, bringing you roses, showing up
Well, that was,
randomly.
16 years ago. So that, I mean, we were
Okay,
together 15 years, but
right.
that was 16 years ago. I was 20. We were both 23. I was young.
Okay, okay,
Now I know the truth. I mean, I
right,
wouldn't fall for it
right.
now.
Yeah, yeah. Good, 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 good. And so, but I know at 15 years, and you're still thinking, and back to your initial question about looking them up online and stuff. People are absolutely right. Unless you have an absolute, uh, no, that should stop. I'm telling you from personal experience because it's something that I have struggled with too. Every now and then, wanting to pop open and look at their Facebook. Don't do it. It will set you back every single time. It will raise questions. It will bring up old hurts. It's not worth it. You should absolutely delete and block his accounts, his social media. I know it's something that's hard or difficult to do, but in time, you won't miss it. You'll stop missing it, right? And as your life goes on, and as you meet new friends and new people, it will further distance. But you have to go through the discipline of completely blocking him out. Don't look at anything of his because you're going to want to do that. You're
Okay.
you're going to want to save everybody from him. He's a liar. He's a fake. He's a
Well, I
phony.
guess I'm living in a, yeah. And also part of me is like hoping to say, gosh, I really miss my family. I really miss, I really messed up. Instead, I'm seeing like he's taking my position of what he put me through and putting it as though that's what he went through.
Right. Yeah.
And it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible
It
because I
is.
can't defend myself.
Oh, I know. I know. I have seen abusive people literally use my words. People who I was hanging out with, and the family dynamic. And at the time I was a worship leader when I lived in California, and I'd want to pray for people. And after I was demeaned and devalued and cussed at and ridiculed and criticized and dumped and pushed out, I would turn back and see social media and see what those people are up to. And I would see them on social media with the sweetest, most loving words. Oh, God is so good. God is so good to me. And I'm going to pray for, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? Are these the same people that were demeaning and
Is
devaluing
everybody?
me? And now they're on
Yeah,
social
I do.
media.
Yeah.
Now they're on social media saying
Yep.
they're praying for everybody and God bless people and God love them. I'm like, it made me sick. And it
And it makes you mad, and you
made
want
me
to confront
angry.
you and go, "Does
Yes.
everybody know what you're doing? Does everybody know what you just did?
Yes.
Nobody knows what you like." It's
Right.
frustrating. Ugh.
Narcissists need to have that world. That's the only thing they have is that fake external relationship through social media. Social media is the perfect place for abusive narcissists. When it comes to things like Facebook and Instagram, and the reason is because they can just put little pieces of themselves, the best ones that look good, little comments, and then when they go into their narcissistic rages or whatever, they can withdraw from it, so nobody sees that. So they constantly have a front up for the social media world where they're
Yeah.
completely abusing and degrading and destroying the lives of people who are really in their life. Really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad.
Yeah.
Not worth your time at all. Not one bit. Not one bit.
Yeah. True. Very true. Well, I guess I just need to pray for my healing. I was afraid of doing that for so long because I just wanted, God to change him and to restore this family because we have two kids together, and I just wanted I wanted a miracle. I wanted God, and then people say, well, God does do miracles, and I wanted a miracle, but
Yeah,
it
but you
doesn't
gotta
look like that's going to happen.
no. You gotta ask. You gotta take a hard look at the miracle you're asking for too. You're talking about somebody who's already been with other women, which defiles your marriage covenant, right? So even if something were to happen, he were to come crawling back to your doorstep saying, "Please take me in." I promise you, you'll never look at him the same. You won't.
Yeah, that's what my mom was saying. She's saying, you don't understand. You feel that way now, but the trust is
Right.
completely
No,
ruined. The innocence of the relationship
it
is
is.
taken away.
It will never be the
It's
same.
just all,
The relationship
yeah.
is it's doomed. So the miracle. So there's no miracle, and I mean it's just not going to happen. What you need to do is process this hurt as a result of it. It's the best thing you can do. And so I encourage you to, is to heal yourself, cleanse yourself, deal with yourself, work with yourself on this issue, whether you need to get cleansed of the activity that you guys had together, the things that you did that went against certain integral parts of who you are, right? Your boundaries and all that stuff. Heal that. Speak out his name. Speak out, whatever, and do it in a way that's self healing, so you can move on in your life, right? And move towards what God truly has in store for you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. I'm so happy for YouTube and the knowledge that's coming out, because without it, I don't know where we would all be, because we'd wonder what the heck happened to us, and there was no way to really know without the research. So I'm so
Right.
thankful for that.
Yeah. Me too. I am too. All right. Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here. Have a
You
good
too.
night.
Thank you so much too. You too. Bye.
Bye. That was a really good call, guys. I'm so thankful for people who are just able to be honest and open and be able to talk about where they're at as far as struggling to move on. We're going to take this call here from Arizona. You're live on the Royal We.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me? I have my earbuds in. I'm partially deaf.
We can hear you.
Okay. I've I've been listening to your program like a lot of other ones for quite a few months now, and I just wanted to say thank you. I really these last year, I've just done a lot of reevaluating and really looking in and doing the final conversation type things with people, not to get closure because I understand that is not going to be forthcoming,
Right.
but to really get clarification that I'm not just one, that I'm not the narcissist, which
Right.
I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm more the empath than the narcissist. But, it can come across as you're cold-hearted because you kind of like stop. You're not letting people in because, wait a minute, how can I have this? How can I have these 2, 3, 4 people that I really thought I knew for some of them decades that, and yeah, they're hurting me, but you try to understand they're having issues. They have this, I'm starting to really say, even one of my children, my grown daughter,
Right.
wanted custody of my 16-year-old, and literally her and my ex-husband they said I had a whole other child that I don't have, a 9-year-old that I don't even have. I don't have another younger child, younger than 16 or 17 at the time.
Right. Right.
They went to CPS, said I had a child that I'm neglecting and abusing. It doesn't even exist.
Right.
And I had to prove a child that didn't exist. I kind of had to turn it around on Lady and say, you know what? I'm putting a claim in against you. I say you have a child that you're neglecting.
So
like,
so what's going on right now? So what's going on right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to squirrel off. It's just, it's so much to really find someone that is able to tell you what's
right
going on. My friend that I've known for decades just, started just going ballistic because I don't know. I just was witnessing what they were doing, and I'm like, hey,
yeah,
what is that? What are you doing with you in your 60s? You're like full body hugs and sensual, and with your grown girl children of your friends and friends of your children who are grown, you're seducing these little girls. What the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
They just had and my other friend that was acting strange, I'm this Buddhist, and I'm like, yeah, okay, the essence of Buddha. They're like, literally told me, I'll tell you what, I'll even, not that I'm looking to be married, I'll even marry you if you never said the word, never said you were a woman again. I'm like, what? I mean,
well, listen, hon, I'm gonna wrap this up because we're running out of time here. But I'm glad that you called, and thank you so much for calling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry
okay.
To disturb you guys.
You're okay.
No,
You're okay. But thank you. Yeah. Sometimes I just, guys, sometimes we can go on and on and on about different, stories and, what's going on, and friends are doing that, who's doing that, and this person's doing that, and this person's doing that. And I know that we all have a lot of these stories. And so sometimes we can go through and it just, you know what I mean? The time ticks, and we are running over time tonight. And I know that there's a lot of people that do need to get to sleep, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this show up. I want to thank you guys for calling. I want to thank you for everybody who participated, who took the time to make the telephone call. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Thank you to all the moderators. Thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing. And what a great community this is to be a part of, guys. And like I said before, if you do want to find out about the Facebook support group, you can contact Blue. She's posting that. I see that there. If you guys are interested in donating to the Royal We, you can do that on the homepage of the Royal We channel. You can also buy merchandise in the description box below this video. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow night with more of the Royal We Live, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, guys. Thank you so much for being with me tonight, and we will see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.